Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting Game 3 from the candidate match between Mamedyarov and Gelfand. The first two games in this match both resulted in draws, and with only 4 games to be played at all overall, it's obviously very important not to lose. But let's see what happened in the game. Mamedyarov is white and Gelfand has the black pieces, and we start off with e4, c5, the Sicilian defense, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, and a6, the knight off variation, and here Mamedyarov plays bishop c4, also known as the Sosin attack, which was for a long time Fischer's favorite against the knight off. e6, bishop b3, b5, castles, bishop e7, queen f3, queen c7, queen g3, castles, bishop h6, knight e8, rook a d1, bishop d7, and f4. Also here is often played a3, but we're still in theory, knight c6, and f5. And still in theory, and this move has been tried by Morozevich once against Kasparov, in fact, and Morozevich lost this game. Knight takes d4 from Gelfand, rook takes d4, and Mamedyarov is now threatening f6. And what should Gelfand do? Kasparov chose bishop f6 against Morozevich, but Gelfand actually played a novelty in this position. He played king h8. And surely Mamedyarov must have been considering f6 anyway, because after bishop takes f6, rook takes, and then, for example, g takes h6, queen f2, I think white is having some good attacking chances here. And if instead of bishop takes f6, he plays g takes h6, then f takes e7, rook g8, and queen h4 is looking very dangerous for black. So I think f6 was the move for Mamedyarov, but he played bishop e3 instead. And then knight f6, and with no possible f6 move, the white attack is not looking very dangerous. Queen h3, and with no immediate threats from white, Gelfand decides to break in the center, d5. And now Mamedyarov plays the interesting pawn sack, e5, allowing queen takes e5. But then Mamedyarov at least is able to transfer his rook to the king side very quickly, rook h4. Rook fc8 came from Gelfand, and he probably prepared bishop c5, or perhaps even queen takes e3, followed by bishop c5, to exchange some pieces, because he's one pawn up, and he would have nothing against some pieces being traded off. King h1 from Mamedyarov to prevent this exchange of pieces. But king h1 may avoid tricks on e3, but it's allowing another trick from Gelfand, and it might be an idea for you to pause the video and see if you can find the best continuation for black in this position. Can you spot the idea for black in this position? Gelfand played the thematic exchange sack, rook takes c3. And after b takes c3, he took the pawn on c3. And Mamedyarov has no real attack going, and Gelfand is seizing the initiative. Here, rook d4, a5, rook d3, queen c6, c3, a4, bishop c2, and e5. And now Gelfand's central and queenside pawns are making life very difficult for Mamedyarov. Bishop g5, b4, the c3 pawn is pinned to the bishop on c2, which is without protection, queen h4. And while Mamedyarov tries one last time to throw all in, Gelfand calmly collects another pawn, b takes c3. And rook h3 followed, and now the threat is bishop takes f6 followed by queen takes h7 checkmate. So Gelfand has to move his king to g8. And because the black pieces are well coordinated now, then bishop takes f6, bishop takes, queen takes h7 doesn't work, because the black rook on a8 is defended by the queen after queen h8 check, king e7. So instead Mamedyarov here played rook e1, and e4 came. And Gelfand has a big advantage now because of these 3 connected central pawns. g4, king f8, bishop e3, queen c4, and g5. Mamedyarov desperately tries to create something, but Gelfand sacks a knight for another 2 pawns. So he plays bishop takes f5, g takes f6, and bishop takes f6. So now Gelfand has 5 pawns for a rook, and since the 2 bishops are both helping in defense of the king and supporting the advance of the central pawns, the game is practically over. Mamedyarov plays a few more moves, queen h5, bishop g6, queen g4, and now Gelfand can take a 6th pawn for his rook by taking on a2. Bishop b1, queen c4, queen g2, a3. Bishop a2, queen c6, rook g3, and rook b8, preparing rook b2, and now Mamedyarov had enough and resigned the hopeless game. He will not be able to stop all the black pawns. So Mamedyarov tried to attack Gelfand but rejected the strong f6 for some reason. And after that, Gelfand played the game very nicely. First he made the thematic exchange sack on c3, which created weak pawns on the white queen side and strong central pawns for black. And secondly, he sacked his knight for 2 additional pawns, and the logical outcome was a win for Gelfand, because Mamedyarov was not able to stop Gelfand's pawns from rolling. So I hope you enjoyed the game, and I hope to see you on my blog at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.